All right. Today is a day of eating. I'm gonna take you through my entire diet. We just bumped up calories again. I am literally stuffed to the brim, but I'm gaining weight. I'm up 16 pounds since stage. So we're gaining at a really good rate, and I'm gonna get into that. I'm gonna get into all my meals. It's been a busy morning going through my normal morning routine, which is just getting to my coffee, then having everything laid out for me, which is a huge tip. My vitamins, to the bowl I'm gonna use for my oatmeal, to my greens powder, to my journal, my Bible, everything that I do in the morning. I have it all laid out and ready to go. Then I hit my cardio, about 20-25 minutes fast cardio in the morning while doing some emails. Just the typical, the same exact schedule, same exact routine every single morning starting at 5 a.m. Now I just pulled up to the barber. My camera is about to die. So I'm gonna go get my cut, get this trimmed down and this mustache cleaned off. Then I'm gonna head to the office and we're gonna break down every single meal that I have today in this lean bulking phase. Just got done with a coaching call, because even coaches need coaches. So I was just on a call with a couple of my mentors, Nick Surface and Garrett Unkelbach, with the Impossible Life podcast, the Impossible Life coaching. And it's all really just entrepreneurship based, faith-based entrepreneurship, marketing, building your business with leadership principles in mind. Garrett's an ex-Navy SEAL. He runs a men's group out at a church in Dallas. And Nick is a marketing guru. He has a marketing agency and he works with huge companies. So just a wealth of knowledge, so just like loads of notes, but I literally came straight from the barber here, jumped right into the Zoom call and started diving into it. And now I kind of want to get into a little bit of a physique update, because that's what this video is really about, is a physique update on the lean gains process and how everything is going, what my diet looks like, all that kind of stuff. So we have been increasing calories, and like I said earlier, like I am so full at this point. It's getting kind of ridiculous, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm loving it. And at the end of the day, my training's going well. I've added some size. I'm actually gonna pull up some of my data right now. We are up quite a bit. All right, so we are 14 weeks post-show, and I am up 16 pounds. And for measurements, I am up, chest is up about an inch, inch and a half. My arms, and I didn't measure right after getting out of prep, which I wish I would have done, but my legs and arms are up as well. My legs are up 2 inches, my arms are up an inch, and my stomach is only barely up, about an inch, inch and a quarter, which is fine because you're gonna gain a little bit of body fat in the process. So 14 weeks in, 16 pounds so far. A good bit of that is gonna be water weight and glycogen, just post-show rebound, right? I'm not gonna count all this as muscle, but I'm definitely putting on some size based on the measurements, and I'm feeling really good. My calories have gone through the roof. I think I finished prep at like 1,600 calories. We slowly built them up, obviously, over time. They were at 1,600. We climbed them up to 25, 27. And now, as of this week, we just made the adjustment. Now my carbs are at 470, protein's at 250, and fat is at about 60. So still a lower fat diet. We're at 3,500 calories, just above 3,500 calories, which is the most I've eaten in quite a while, but I'm excited about this because it's a lot of food. It is leading straight to gains. Meal one is where I have most of my calories. It's a big meal. We had egg whites or egg beaters. I like to use the yellow ones because it just, I don't know, makes me feel like I'm eating real eggs. And then I put spinach in that, cooking a little bit of olive oil spray. I use some hot sauce with that, which I do track. I do not track the olive oil spray, and I do not track my fish oil, both of which are fat, and I do not track my greens throughout the day, which is a question somebody asked me, and I don't track the little things like those supplements or the oils or things that don't change. It is standardized, the measurement, the type, the spray, everything stays the same throughout the day, and so it's a variable that is not fluctuating, it's not varying, it's staying static the entire time, and so we don't track it because I'm following a meal plan and just making slight adjustments, but the macros stay the same, and this just makes tracking a little bit easier when you're following a meal plan like I do. The reality is I'm tracking 3,500 calories. I'm probably actually eating like 3,800 calories. Breakfast was the eggs for the protein, and then I have about 100 grams of oats, cinnamon, stevia, a little bit of baking powder in there with almond butter as well added to that. Then I have frozen mango, my greens drink, and then all my supplements, which I generally go through Revive and get raw for. So my creatine, some of my multivitamin-like supplements, which instead of taking one multi, I typically break it down and get more out of different ones. So I take a kidney supplement, a liver supplement, and a heart cardiovascular supplement. Then I have some digestive stuff I take as well. But calories are up, training is up, fresh haircut and shave, looking good. I'm pumped for the day. I just had a marketing meeting. Now I'm going to dive into some deep work. I gotta eat meal 2, which is coming up here soon. But we have a busy, busy day. We got meal 2.
which is me having rice and turkey with my mustard, essentially. I've got some shit after the last video of how much mustard I put on my meal, and it's a really macro friendly. So this is ground turkey, green beans, and white rice. The ground turkey is cooked in a little bit of olive oil, again, which I don't track because it's like maybe a teaspoon, maybe less. So by the end of the day, I probably have about an extra 10 grams of fat. And when I go into a prep or a cut, I typically don't like to do that. And with any of my clients who do not eat the same exact thing every single day like I do, I also don't recommend that either. But if you're on a meal plan, sometimes it's just nice. But again, this is just a hefty serving of rice. We got like 115 grams of cooked ground turkey, which I believe is like 160 grams raw. When you cook meat, reduce the weight by 25%. And then 100 grams green beans, which I don't track as well. I'm gonna smash this meal. I'm hungry and I have a lot to dive into. I'm still full from my last meal. This is part of lean bulking. I might like do some work on the treadmill because I only got an hour before my next meal and I'm still just not that hungry. And that's part of bulking. Like there's definitely times where if you're reverse dieting or you're going into a gaining phase, like you need to eat more food. And if you're not hungry at those times, or you're just not hungry enough to eat all the calories, sometimes it's a matter of just kind of force feeding. Eat the food. And eventually your metabolism will speed up because your metabolic rate, your metabolism overall is going to be based on how many calories you consume, your total body weight, age, height, all that kind of stuff, and then your activity level. So if I eat more, my metabolism will be dynamic and will actually adapt to it, right? So my metabolism might speed up if I'm actually eating more food, and probably going to train harder. I'm probably going to move more. And when I train harder, I move more, I build more muscle, I'm expending energy more. Guess what? I'm probably going to need more calories and more easily be able to eat those calories. So I never like force feeding or telling clients force feed, but if you got to force feed, sometimes you just got to eat the damn food. And that's part of gaining. You got to be in a surplus, and I got a ways to go before I'm doing a cut again because we got to put on this muscle. All right. Pre-workout meal. This is meal number 3. It's about 700 calories, going for about 40 to 50 grams of protein, about 110, 120 grams of carbs, and sub 20 fats. I think it's like 15 grams of fat, just to make it easier to digest as well as a little bit slower. Cream of rice is going to be a very good, easy to digest, pure starchy carb that is low fiber, cinnamon, baking powder, and then some Get Raw whey protein as well as casein protein. I find that casein just blends it better, makes it thicker, which I like for taste preference perspective. And then the fruit, when we combined a glucose and a fructose, a fruit and a starchy carb together, we speed up the rate of digestion and absorption of those carbohydrates. So if we're going to absorb carbs faster as well as potentially better during a training session for fuel, we want to combine those two together. Another thing you can do is add sodium. So I actually do sea salt, and I do 3 cracks of sea salt in the grinder with every meal. That's going to be helpful from a nutrient perspective, but also it's going to help with hydration during a training session, and it's going to be another glucose disposal kind of agent. It's going to act as similar to the fruit and the starch together by allowing me to absorb carbs faster and better with this meal. Leg day is done. My legs are crushed. Again, if you want to check out exactly what I did, we actually shot the same exact workout in the most recent leg day vlog. All free weights, seated leg curl, leg extension, Hatfield squat, Bulgarian split squats with an offset position. I actually did heel elevated. Brutal. And then I did leg raises today for abs. It was one of those days that I was bouncing back and forth between my computer and the workout, which I shouldn't do, but you know what? Like at the end of the day, my work is more important than my workout. It's difficult balancing being a coach, being an entrepreneur, and trying to be a pro physique athlete as well. I'm doing all the right things. It's just some weeks I don't hit the nail on the head across the board. And the reality is nobody does. It's impossible. On my way home right now, gonna get a post-workout meal in. Real simple, ground beef, white rice, that's it. I usually put some soy sauce and sriracha on there, which I don't track. And then I put broccoli on there, 100 grams of broccoli, which is untracked as well. But white rice is gonna be 350 grams. And then for ground beef, it is 100 and, I don't know, my wife weighs it out. We'll put it on the screen. My wife helps me with this. I'm super blessed in that regard that my wife is able to do this for me. But I'm a huge fan of ground beef and just ground meats in general because they're typically easier for people to digest. And the more my calories go up, the more I have to prioritize digestion, because the more calories you eat, the more work your gut's doing, your intestines are doing, and the more nutrients you have to try to absorb and break down from what you're eating. That's the meal. 96% lean, so real lean grass-fed beef. I'm gonna go eat that and hang with the family for a few hours, and then I will catch up with you after that. And that is a wrap. Full day of eating, physique update. Just to kind of recap, we are 14 weeks into the post-show reverse diet lean gaining phase. We've been actively trying to gain a half a pound and a pound a week. I'm up total 15 to 16 pounds since show. Not all of that is muscle, obviously, but I'm consistently gaining at a steady rate. We just bumped up my calories again. We're gonna pull up all my calories and macros up on the screen right now. I'm sitting at about 250 protein, 475 carbs, and about 60 to 65 fat, putting me at around 3,500 calories, probably a little bit over because there's certain things I don't track. Following a 5-day split, I'm still doing 5 days a week of cardio, but only 20-25 minutes at a low intensity pace, really just like health maintenance, aerobic capacity, and to just keep me somewhat lean. We had the post-workout meal, which I didn't film too much around, but actually was a good example, and this made good content. We forgot to cook rice, so there was no leftover rice, so I actually had cream of rice again, and I just put cream of rice with the ground beef with the broccoli, and then I mixed some soy sauce and sriracha in it, and I just did the exact same amount of carbs from cream of rice. Which is the nice thing about this style of dieting, is if you run out of one thing, you can just swap it for another food ingredient that's the same macro, and it makes it really easy to just stick to the meal plan and diet and get the same results. And it actually tasted really good. And now I'm gonna go on a walk, 1,500 steps. I'm gonna go get the mail, walk around the neighborhood, listen to a podcast. I tend to do this every single night, just kind of decompress my brain, get some good steps in, make sure I hit that about 11 to 12,000 step count per day. Then I'm gonna have the last meal of the day, which is going to be casein protein, PB2, almond butter, almond milk. We got pumpkin in there, some cinnamon, and then crumbled graham crackers on top. So I basically mix them in a certain order just to make the consistency good. Crumble the graham crackers on top, mix that up. I'm going to put it in the freezer. I'll come back in about an hour, take it out of the freezer, and it's going to be like ice cream. It is literally phenomenal. If you don't have a creamy, this is the best thing you can do. If you have a creamy, you can use that in the creamy too. I'm going to go on a walk. I'm going to eat this final meal. That's a wrap for the day. I got another early morning at 5 a.m. Do the exact same thing tomorrow. You work, you train, you spend time with family. I love my life and I wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy these videos, if you're learning anything, comment below, ask me any question. I'm always here to help. If you enjoy it, if it's helping you, if you like it, share it with a friend, subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment below. I appreciate you watching. I'll catch you next time.